Welcome to Charleston Uncorked, where the low country comes alive. I'm your host, Tony Leone, along with my main man, Scott Hairfield, and come on a journey with us through the Holy City as we explore food gems, craft cocktails, local sports, life outdoors, and the issues that are shaping our city. We are pouring it all out, all low country, no filter. This is ground zero for Charleston Uncorked. If you don't know, my name's Tony Leone. I got my main man, Scott. Scott, say what's up.
Hey, I'm Scott, y'all.
There you go. So this is an exciting one. This is literally episode 0, and the point of what we want to do today is kind of share with you why and how this thing came to be, what you can expect from Charleston Uncorked, who we are, why we're doing this, and a little bit of intro to us. And man, I'm just super pumped. And I guess the how I want to start this is when I first had the idea. In my mind, there was nobody else that I was going to ask to do this with me was you, Scott, and for 2 reasons. And I'll let you take it from here with the question. One, obviously, we've been best friends since kindergarten.
That's right.
Right? Shout out Leone. Right. Well, now it's called O'Quinn School, but
School.
We're James Island boys, and we've literally gone to school pretty much every iteration all the way through college. We're Citadel grads, go Dogs, and nice. And the other reason is, I left for 15 years. I shortly after graduating, I went to Charlotte for about 15 years. I came back a couple years ago, but you never left. And
that's right.
You could track your family way back to some Charleston roots. So you were deep into the Charleston culture, even more so than me, even though I'm technically born and raised here. But I wanted to kind of just get your first insight. When I sent you that text message, it said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this podcast about a Chucktown only," and you were like, "I'm in." Like, you didn't ask, "Well, what's it about?" Yeah. Like, you were just like, "I'm in." So like, what was it about this that got you kind of pumped up about what we were going to do?
Yeah. So, just talking back on, our history together as best friends, we've always been together. So, we've had some separations when you moved to Charlotte for a little bit, but, we've always stayed in touch. We always kind of hung out. So, and we've always kind of had a good vibe. We never really fought. We fought kind of like brothers where we've argued and disagreed on some stuff, but it's never really been a serious fight. So, you and I share a lot of views, but we have a good rapport back and forth. We've always kind of been able to chit chat. And I got a text from Tony, and it was, let me pull up the stats. So it was March 12th at like 7 p.m. And Tony goes, "I got an idea, want to run by you." And so I was busy, obviously, 7 o'clock. We both have kids, so I'm sure I was cooking dinner or whatever. And so at 8:20 that same night, I said, "Okay, what's the idea?" So Tony comes back and says, "It's a Charleston-focused podcast." And within minutes, not even minutes, that very same timestamp of 8:20, I said, "I'm in." No other questions. I was just like, "I'm in." So Tony sends back, "We'll dive into all things Charleston, think about it." And so 8:21, I responded with an exclamation point, "I'm in, all in." I'm all in from the rip. So, I watch a lot of YouTube podcasts, and, it's becoming more popular now. And, that's what I'm doing in the evening when I'm winding down, or if I'm, trying to zone out, get some work done. I'm plugging in the earbuds and I'm listening to a podcast, and I figured there's really not that many true podcasts that, kind of report on what's going on in Charleston. And one of our favorite things to do is to go out downtown Charleston and the outlying areas. Charleston, it evolves, as you can attest to, coming back 10 years later. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But, there's constant restaurants and bars and things to do that are new that weren't always there. And even the ones that were there, they're completely different now.
Right.
So, I really enjoy recreating or attempting to recreate the experiences and, the different products that you're able to try at these restaurants and bars at home here. And, that's just something fun that I've enjoyed doing. And, we basically review restaurants as it is on a regular basis,
Honestly, like if it's a date night, I ask you, I'm like, where should I go? Because you've been plugged in for like the last 15 years. It's so weird because I come back and I go, oh my God.
Where do I start?
Where do I start? Because it is just, it's just gone crazy.
It's overwhelming.
So this is what we do in our personal time. We're like, dude, we got to try this. Let's bebop here. I heard they got a good drink. I heard they got this good atmosphere. But then the other plug-in with this was I do want it to be Charleston. It's obviously Charleston naturally is an F&B city. Right? I think that's what it's a lot of people know it for. But on top of that, this city is just, we love it. And I think most people who come visit here love it. So outside of F&B, obviously sports, but, one of your favorite things, and I love watching is, there you go.
Go Birds.
Yeah. So we need to explain that, by the way.
We'll explain it. You guys, if you know, otherwise, you'll come to find out that we are both huge Eagles fans for different reasons.
Exactly. But, we won't be talking about the Charleston football team anytime soon.
That's right.
So
it's not Charleston Panthers.
Thank you very much.
Which, by the way, we didn't have growing up. So for you locals say, well, how are you? We'll get into it, but
get off our ass is what we're saying.
Yeah. Give us a break. Okay. We're just not starting.
So, you had a shot, but you voted against the tush push, and now you're dead to us forever.
Now you're dead.
Now you're dead. Now I got to cut you off. Anyway, so look, I'm pumped up. I remember I was listening to a podcast. I think I might have been listening to Rogan, but like one of his guests was saying, as the macro national media has been gobbled up by podcasts and things, he goes, if it were me, I would start one at the local level because that's exactly what's going to happen. And I went, that because I remember I would see a story. Here's a great example. I was watching the news, and there was something I was really intrigued about. There was this young guy, say he's in his 30s, his whole family, generations of sweetgrass basket makers, and he was honored for something at one of our local museums. They didn't even have a video of him. They didn't have him interview of him. They just showed a still picture for about 10 seconds, and I was like, "Oh shit! I want to talk to that guy. I want to hear." Right. What that is, because that, again, integral part. So that's what I want this to be. And for us, it's going to be a collision of, we're the stewards of local insights. We're very plugged in. I know that's one of the reasons I tapped you in the first place is because you're like the unofficial mayor of Chucktown. You just bebop around so much. But
that's what we love doing, going from spot to spot. And there's so many different spots around. It doesn't necessarily have to be downtown Charleston. If you live anywhere in the area, you've got all the beaches, Folly, Sullivan's, Isle of Palms. You got West Ashley. You got Somerville. You've got, James Island, Johns Island. Hanahan, North Chuck, Goose Creek, et cetera. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Monk's Corner. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but Daniel Island is now, as you and I know, its own thing. That's a whole other animal.
It's its own thing. We used to go mudding out there when BE moved out there. Like for context, everybody, Scott and I went to Bishop England, and the first 2 years were downtown, where the College Charleston Library currently sits.
That's right.
And then the other 2 years were on Daniel Island, which it was just woods. We would go.
Yeah, there was nothing out there.
We'd go mudding and stuff after school. Now, like that's one of those where I came back and I was like, I couldn't even tell where the school was. I went to go see the Black Keys at Credit One Stadium, and I was like, how do I get to Bishop England? I didn't have context for where it was. It was so just full at this point. It was weird, bizarre.
Yeah, when we started going there wasn't even a Daniel Island exit, to give you guys even more context. You had the Clements Ferry Road exit, and you had to take that one side road that would take you all the way back. And the only, it was kind of cool for us to get the inside of both sides. I think, we did half and half, two downtown, and it's just, and two on Daniel Island. It was just bad timing to where, as a senior at Bishop England, you were able to go have a free period and go off and go to a restaurant downtown or get something to eat or go do something. Daniel Island, when we were there.
What was the breakfast place that was down there? It then became a Starbucks.
So it was, I think, originally the Goody House.
The Goody House.
Yeah, but then it changed hands a few times, and then I think now it's a tiny little Starbucks right next to where the freshman building was.
Tiny little breakfast. Okay, that's enough of nostalgia. But so let's talk about format of the show. So we're gonna do a couple of segments. These kind of episodes will be about once a month, where we pop in, do a little month in review, what's coming up, just so you can keep your eye on some current events if you want to have fun, if you want to keep an eye on something. But one of my favorite segments that we're gonna do from the F&B master, who does like to wow people with his drinks, is what's in the glass?
What's in the glass?
What's in the glass? What's in the glass? So Scott, bro, why don't you share with us what's in the glass?
So this evening I'm having a Negroni, and I used local distillery Nipitati's gin. So they have a butterfly pea gin, which is a purple gin, and it's pretty delicious. If you've met the owners, they'll tell you, they like to make gin and vodka for people that don't like the taste of gin and vodka. And I thought that was a very interesting selling point because, people that are buying gin are typically okay with the taste of gin. But it's really good. You could drink the stuff basically straight. So Negroni, for those of you who don't know, is just typically equal parts Campari, sweet vermouth, and gin. Stir it in a mixing glass, pour it over a big cube, and then garnish with, typically an orange peel or zest of an orange. So what I like to do is I change it up a little bit because that's a little too bitter and a little too much. So I do 3/4 of an ounce of the sweet vermouth, 3/4 of an ounce of the Campari, and then 2.5 ounces of the gin. And I interchange the Negronis with the Boulevardiers, which is essentially the same thing, but you swap out the gin with bourbon. So those are my drinks I've been drinking on every now and again if I just want one. And it's nice and refreshing. Local distillery, so I'm always trying to.
That's the one on James Island.
So I'd love to do a on-site episode with them. I've already kind of talked to them a little bit when I was there with Rex, which is a good friend of ours from James Island, and it's called the Rick House, and it's a distillery on James Island that is 3 different distilleries that are all producing their own stuff out of the same spot. So it's Nipitati, and they do gin and vodka.
Where did they get that name?
I have no idea.
That's
a great question.
Because I'll be honest, I want to say Nipititi. It's like the first thing I want to. I was like,
it just kind of rolls off the tongue a little easier. And then they've got Virgil Kane is another one. They do a lot of.
They have. They did a tasting at the Toddy Shop over here on Harvey Road, and they had. Was it not a ginger? It might have been like a ginger bourbon.
They do. They do a lot of finished products.
Yes.
So they'll take their products, which is mostly MGP. For those of you who drink bourbons, it's an MGP product that they get. I think they said 3 to 5 years. We'll do an in-depth review and show you guys around of their facility and talk to them. But they essentially finish. They have all these wild finishes. So yes, they have a ginger one, which is fantastic.
That was insane.
I liked all of their stuff.
Yeah, they had another one like some sort of green tea finish, which was I gave that to my wife, who not a traditional bourbon drinker. She was like, I could drink this a lot. I mean, it was fantastic. So I love the fact that they're doing things like that. It's just unique, right?
Right.
So
right, and then they got one more, Cannon Distillery. That's the one. they do a bunch of stuff too, but the one thing that I found very interesting is they're making corn vodka. So
Okay.
that's that bottle I brought over to your house,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we'll have to do a in-depth review. That's not something that they really sell in the liquor store, so don't look for that. But you can go taste it at their distillery and their tasting room. They've got a great facility over there on
Yeah.
James Island, so look them up. Shout out to the Rick House.
See, God, that's what I mean. Scott's being, a little reserved in terms of what he can get out of people, but he got a bottle of that corn liquor. He's like,
I did.
we don't normally sell this, but to you,
But to you,
but to you,
little secret.
yeah, don't tell anybody. We're telling everybody. But
Well, Nipatati started out. They had a spot on Sproul Avenue.
I didn't know that.
Over, yeah. So it
Interesting.
was basically right across from the Junction, the kitchen, which is in between like Holy City and Sesame, near the Park Circle area.
Yeah.
And then they recently combined forces with the guys over at the Rick House. So love it. They've got a great spot over there. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Look, I'm super lame. My what's in the glass. You know
What's
what?
in a glass, Tommy?
It's
What's in a glass?
non-alcoholic beer. I'm not going to lie to the audience right out of the gate. I've designated at this point because, as you know, drinking is an Olympic sport in this city. And we've been doing it. We've been doing it really well for a long time. So I'm pulling it back just a hair. Also in anticipation of the podcast, I was doing a lot of F&B stuff. I was like, it doesn't need to ramp up. So I'm trying to relegate a little bit back down. And I'm a little bit on the trend of people going on. I'm not on the sobriety trend. I just want to do a little bit more cutting back on my own terms. So when I do go out and get drinks, I want it to be unique and special instead of it just being, oh, we're just going to, you know, I'm going out and getting drinks on top of me making my own drink at home, on top of me drinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm just trying to ramp it back a little bit.
Just
But it's
slow down.
interesting.
Pace yourself.
Yeah, you got to do. There's got to be a little bit clever at this age,
Right.
So it was interesting. I was telling you this before we started. Even the city paper has like a top 10 list of non-alcoholic drinks in Charleston. So it's definitely trending. It'll be very interesting. Like that should be an episode we do. Let's just go bounce around and see
Bebop.
how people are getting creative because this is a real trend going around the country. You see
For sure.
lot of people drink less. There's a lot of it's a reaction from the Hubermans of the world, and them. You can see a lot of people just kind of following that trend a little bit more. Plus, they have more access to alternatives, right? California sober, your infused drinks, things like that.
Got the mushroom drinks now.
The mushroom drinks. In fact, we got a couple mushroom drinks downstairs. I got a Negroni mushroom drink downstairs, which was really, it gave me the impression that I'm drinking a Negroni, had that bitterness to it, but then really really was a stress reducer. I don't have the brand, but it like when I say it worked, not stoned, right? I've eaten mushrooms before, but not like I'm on mushrooms, but it was just like, whew, like kind of
because they don't have psilocybin or anything.
No.
Right?
Yeah, it's like
just,
I don't want to speak out of turn, but it's definitely I think it's like lion's mane, ashwagandha, and who the hell else knows. But like,
right.
it worked. It was like I felt chill. I felt good, and I put it over a rock in a glass, and I was like, this is nice. So when I did have some wine last night, I popped up in a nice bottle of wine and enjoyed it with steak, and I was like, all right, now we're in the game. Like this is how I want to do it forever. Yeah. So we should do, we'll pull out of some of these. Shout out City Paper. We'll pull out some of those and try and find our own. If anybody's got some comments or suggestions, put them in the comments. But a little bit of format, right? So let's set the stage for what people can expect, because it won't be us just kind of giving our history. This is our ground zero episode. So we're going to do what's in the glass. That was awesome. Sometimes it'll be based on, right, like an experience you had somewhere else. Sometimes it's just off of your noggin there. But then the other thing we're going to do is what's popping? What's popping, baby? What's popping? That was That's all I had. Yeah.
What's popping?
But what's popping is we're going to talk about a little month in review and month ahead, so you keep up to date on what's going on, and we'll tell you about everything you missed, so you don't miss it next year. So
Maybe not everything. We'll talk about a lot of things.
shit we care about. I'm not trying to be everything to all people. I just
We can't cover it all, people.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. However, we did have a fun July.
We did.
It was fun. We did. So one of my favorite things in the world is fishing. I grew up fishing these waters, inshore and offshore. And now that my dad's getting older, he fishes a little bit less, but that's who I always fished with growing up. But we fish king mackerel tournaments all the time. I mean, you know this, Scott. We won a couple. And one of the ones that we won back in the day, well, my man Scott was my first mate. And he did a good job. He did a good job. I just said, make sure your listening ears on. He was like, how insulting.
Like I've never fished before.
I mean, come on. Yeah. But it gets intense when you're fishing in a tournament. Not like intense, but like.
No, you were right. You're the captain. You tell me what to do, and I'll shut up and do it. And I had a great time.
It was awesome.
Great job being the captain.
2 casts, you loaded up with menhaden. We were on the bait early, and we had lines in the water early. It was, I'd say, 3 to 4s that day, mostly 3-footers that day. You know, we're on a 27-foot sea hunt, twin 200s, so not a small boat, not a massive boat either. I remember I was like,
just right.
I was like, should we go? And I'm not going to tell people where we went because we caught a fish. But I said, should we go here? Should we stop in the channel? Because we saw birds working in the channel. And Scott just deadpans me and goes, stick to the plan. And I was like, let's go. Let's go. So we stuck to the plan. We had lines in the water. And bro, why don't you, I'm going to let you tell the story because I watched excitement and heartbreak in like a 10-minute span right there.
Yeah, so this was my very first king mackerel tournament. I've done a lot of inshore fishing in my life, throwing cast nets off of docks, you know, small boats up and down the creeks in Hanahan, James Island. That's where I cut my teeth, was literally going down to the James Island Yacht Club, riding my bike, taking my pole, taking my cast net. If I caught bait, I was fishing. If I didn't, I wasn't, you know? So, you know, I've always been comfortable throwing a cast net, which, you know, has gotten me quite a few invites to go fishing with other people. So I'm blessed to have been able to have that experience growing up. So yeah, we roll out. I met Tony at his folks' place at 5 a.m. in the morning. No problem there. I'm out in Hanahan. His folks are on James Island. Took me about 20 minutes to get there. Took us about 40 minutes to load up the boat, and then
pretty fast load up. Yeah, we were ready to go.
It's just the two of us.
Yeah,
so
I prepped everything the night before like you should. Like
you did a great job.
If you do fish tournaments, like you can't wing it. Like you gotta prep everything. You gotta check your shit. Preferably if you get bait the night before. That's
what we were talking about on the way back. Yeah, I mean, Tony was kind of sweating it, you know, in the beginning. He's like, all right, keep an eye out for flickering. You know, we're going to see him and we're going to catch him. And he was, you know, we didn't even make it to the main spot yet where we thought we were going to get bait. And he's, you know, kind of like, where am I going to go? What are we doing? We're not going to get any. What are the, you know, these are just terrible luck.
It was, I didn't see a pelican anywhere. It's just pissing me off.
I was just like, let's just take a deep breath. We got it. We're going to, you know, just trying to stay positive, just like anything else, right? Once you get the bad thoughts in, it can kind of snowball real quick. So we found some bait. Very lucky. Saw a couple pelicans dropping and snagged them up, filled up the live wells in a matter of minutes. Mm-hmm. We rolled out. It was a little choppy going out, but I've been in bigger. So... Mm-hmm. You know, we rolled out, and within minutes, Tony's hooking stuff up. I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, keep me straight. So I was just driving straight while he's hooking up the lines, putting them out. And I'm talking within minutes, we put 2 lines in. The first one, boom, slaps. And so Tony's like, fish on, go get it. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, well, let's go reel it. I've caught fish before. I know how to reel in. I've not caught a big fish before. So if you've never done that, maybe ask the captain, hey, do you have any belts, or is there anything I need to know before I try to reel this thing in with just my forearm? Trying to reel it in like this. And this thing was fighting. It was huge.
Yeah,
and so
fish.
I'm reeling it in. I'm like, I didn't know at the time that I was supposed to have some kind of belt on that you put the end of the rod in.
I mean,
that helps you
if you're
reel it in.
If you're a pussy, you need a belt. But
Well, I'm a big one. I got to tell you, that fish was huge. I did not have the forearm strength, so I'm like digging it into my hip. I'm digging it into my stomach. I'm like trying to base it on something, and I fought it for probably 5-10 minutes, and then lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't pop the line. It like broke the leader, right?
Yeah.
You saw it.
It popped the leader off, but in hindsight, it's gonna piss you off. I think I had a drag set too tight, and so what happened was when we were especially since we were in the waves, it was rocking. If I were to do it all over again, which is what you're supposed to do when you screw up, I would probably loosen the drag because I fished a James Island King Mackerel tournament and lightened all the drag. And what these fish do is they run for like 100 yards and then will swim back to the boat. Then they'll see the boat and run again, and it's almost like it. So you don't
Just got to wait it out.
Yeah, you just kind of wait it out, and so setting the drag a lot looser. This next time, it was a much more efficient process, I would say.
Okay. Well, and once you belted me up the second time.
But bro, can I just say, like, for everybody that's fished offshore, they know this feeling, and if you haven't, you don't know it until it happens. When you're fighting a big fish, like your adrenaline's up, and you're like, you hear that reel going zzz, and that rod's like, right, and you're like,
it was exciting.
Yeah. And then you lose it. You think about it for the next 30 minutes. You're like, oh, and on top of it, you're competing in the tournament. And you're like, how big was it? What was that? Because we never saw the fish, and you're like, oh my god! But we knew it was a king.
It was big.
It was big.
It was compared to a few minutes later, Tony was more upset about it than I was. I was just excited that we got action at all. Like, this was my second time offshore fishing ever. The first time, higher seas, smaller boat, zero fish all day long. This time, within minutes, I've already caught a bunch of bait fish in a cast net. I've already fought a giant fish. I'm almost exhausted at this point already. And I was like, I'm excited. Tony seems to know what he's doing, so kudos to my man Tony for putting us on him, because not everybody can do that, So we roll out, and I'm like, there's a few other boats out there, but it was a little rougher than what the weatherman said it was going to be.
It did hold some competition off out there, because we did send it a little bit further than a single outboard wouldn't have enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
They could have made it, but it wouldn't have been fun.
No.
And within minutes, probably 30 minutes later, we just basically looped around that same location one time, and then boom, hits again. And this time, Tony's belts me up. I mean, it was probably 5 minutes, not even. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting this fish, and it turns around and basically swims right towards us, just like Tony was saying, except by that point, Tony had, the gaff, which is a giant hook that you get big fish into the boat, in case you don't know. And, gaffed this fish first try right into the boat, and it was like one of the most exciting, definitely the biggest fish I've ever caught. Yeah. And it was so exciting. Tony's like, we're wading in.
Well,
what a great.
I was like, it's a weigh-in fish. I was like, we are not scout. It was redemption for what happened. Like, that's the best feeling, is like,
right.
All right. Because if you don't catch anything the rest of the day, you agonize over that one you lost. But since we put one in a boat, we were going to weigh it in. I was like, ah! It was like double elation. You caught a fish. We put one in the boat, and I knew we were on them too. Because on top of that, I think we had 4 knockdowns for the whole day. That's where I think I had the drag set too tight, but and we were fishing with smaller fish. That's the other thing. The menhaden weren't very big, so you're gonna struggle catching a big fish with small menhaden, but you can't control that. It is what it is.
Right. So maybe lessons learned is lighten the drag, maybe get the bait the day before, at least backup bait. If you can find,
the problem is menhaden don't keep very well overnight unless you've got a really robust system. If you catch mullet, you're good. The mullet are a robust fish. Mullet and like bluegill are robust fish. They'll last overnight. Menhaden, that's your insurance plan, right? And so that would be something I do. That's probably what we'll do for this one coming up.
Catch some mullet first.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch some mullet. Yeah, we'll try. Well, and maybe we'll catch menhaden the night before. And even if they're not the perfect menhaden, if they're bigger, you can at least start with those in the morning. If a couple survive, but because Dad and I fished the James Island King Mackerel tournament after that, we went to a different spot, but similar.
What was the name of the one that you and I fished? Let's plug them.
Hooked on Miracles. But thank you for reminding me because they did a phenomenal job.
Great job, guys.
They MUSC Children's Hospital. All proceeds go to that. Very family-oriented event. It's just phenomenal. The Ripley Light Marina, a little bit of a tight squeeze there, but they did an outstanding job of being the host. It's just super fun. You got food, free beer. And by the way, shout out to Island Coastal Lager, which hopefully they're a guest one day, but free 12-pack for pre-registration. We had half of our beer covered for the trip. I was like, let's go.
That's awesome.
So, by the way, if you're offshore fishing, we're not getting paid yet by Island Coastal Lager, but that is a good boat beer.
It's a great boat beer. Shout out, great job, Scott. You guys, Scott Henson's another Citadel grad who, started that project, and they've blown up. Great job marketing. Great job putting your product out everywhere. I mean, everywhere you look now.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Island golf tournaments.
That's going to be an episode. That's going to be an episode in itself for sure.
Yeah, we'd love to get with you guys and take a look at all your products. Your location is super nice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, tell me about the tournament. So you and I did one a few weeks ago, and then you and your dad. That was my question.
Yep.
Who'd you fish with on the next one?
We did James Island King Mackerel tournament, which I've done my whole life.
Out of the yacht club?
Out of the yacht club, yep. I won that one when I was about 13 with like a 36-pounder. Interestingly enough, we weighed in the same exact size to the ounce. Yours was 21.1. I weighed in the kingfish, and it was 21.1. I was like, you got to be shitting me. I'm playing the lottery at this point. But
great minds think alike, brother.
Yeah, it was a different spot, same fish. We had a couple knockdowns. Same thing, small menhaden. My dad caught another one. It came right up to the boat, and we lost it at the boat, but we did put eyes on it, and it was a smaller fish, so it wasn't heartbreaking, other than the fact that, you want to put more fish in the freezer for fun. But, great tasting fish, by the way, right?
Oh, my God. So I've been cooking a lot of fish, same thing, trying to eat cleaner.
Yeah.
Do more at the house, not eating trash, so we've been doing a lot of meal prepping and stuff, and salmon has always kind of been my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just such a delicious, clean white fish. I did 3 different ways. The fan favorite was just olive oil, salt and pepper, and a little bit of lemon. That's it.
Same.
I mean, so good. I mean, we tried a couple other things, but
you let the fish do the work, right? That's what.
So good.
You let that fish do the work because you don't have to do much to it. It's incredible.
Well, thanks again to Papa Leone for cleaning the fish. Right. We got to give him a shout out. We show up, and old man comes out, and he's like, put it on up here. And he's like, just starts cleaning it right away. I was like, you don't have to clean our fish for us. He's like, no. Tony's sister is like, you got to let him do it. You got to let him do it.
He was already upset. And the only reason he wasn't in that one, fishing with us, is because he freaking broke his back.
Oh, my God.
He's 80. Yeah, he got a little hairline fracture. He went to go sit down at a poker table, and the seat just wasn't quite under his ass, and bam.
Ooh.
But he's good. He's good, right? That's so good that he fished with me at the James Uncorked Mackerel tournament, which is also a great tournament, open to the public. You don't have to be a member to fish. They do a really good job there as well. Super fun. Also a great cause. They I can't remember. There's a foundation for one of the members whose kids had some really challenging times, so they have their own foundation, but it's really cool. I'll shout it out on the next podcast, but they do a great job. Most of these are for charity, at least the Kingfish ones. So it's been a good run. Look, we're on the fish. So this coming weekend, I'm feeling confident if we get the right bait. I got some tricks up my sleeve that I don't want to share right now, but we'll be on the fish again. And Pop might fish with us
afterwards.
If the weather's down, by the way, Pop might be fishing with us, which would
I'd love that.
He's not holding us back. That's my only thing. I was like, I'm happy for you to fish with me, but we got to roll, and he's feeling good, man. The bean bags are where it's at. If you got anybody that doesn't like to ride out and you're on the center console, those bean bags are the shit. They absorb all the waves.
So now, what kind of bean bags? Where are you getting them?
I got mine at West Marine. Yeah, but they're
okay.
just like an aquatic bean bag, super absorbent for shock. So,
but waterproof, right?
Waterproof, yeah. He just sits in it and just basically takes a nap while you ride out. It's that comfortable.
Wow.
So, but yeah, if he's going to just watch the weather, and he's like, if he feels it, he'll go. If not, I told him that we're launching out of Patriots Point. So there you go. What's popping for next month? Let's get into it. So we got
coming up in August.
Yeah, Southern Kingfish Classic out of Patriots Point. This is going to be a fun one because we're staying at the hotel the whole weekend. We got the boat launching out of there. It's going to be super cool, and hopefully our fortunes turn towards a slightly larger fish.
Oh, my daughter says you're only supposed to cross one finger.
Wise, Isla, wise.
Yeah. Wise beyond
what else is popping? So, news just came out, right? So something that we're going to keep our eye on for the next year. Oh God, it's exhausting even thinking about it. But here they come. Nancy Mace, she has officially announced that she will be running for South Carolina governor. So it'll be her versus Governor McMaster, the current South Carolina governor Republican. The Democratic Party is yet to lay claim to their candidate, so we're waiting to see on that. But hey, it's Scott. It'll be good for us because I'll tell you what, if there's one thing about Nancy, is she's got a sharp tongue, and to watch her on a debate stage will be interesting to see how everyone handles that. And we're gonna have some fun reporting on some of those debates coming up.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely comes up in a lot of more conversations than I thought she would.
Yeah,
like in the golf tournament. So I played in a golf tournament for the Citadel football team, doing a fundraiser for them 2 weeks ago, and her name was brought up multiple times. I mean, I don't think she sponsored anything. She wasn't there. It's just, she's so influential. Everybody knows about her now.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, Tony and I went to the Citadel. So, we're going to try to do more coverage on who we know, what we know. Citadel grads, we get a lot of notifications on what's going on in the Citadel community. So Nancy Mace was the first female graduate of the Citadel. And now she's making a lot of waves, but she's been doing a good job. So we'll be following that for sure.
And look, I want to, eventually, hopefully get to a place where we hear from both sides, let people state their case, whether it's, from someone in their camp or just anyone. I got my eye on someone who's a chair for the election committee in South Carolina. So just be interesting to kind of stay in the know about those things. I'll admit, like, state and local politics has not been my thing. I'm more into like national politics and international news. And so state and local, I've only started to pay attention to it in the last year or two because of, when you see COVID happen, your local politics down to your mayor is so critical. Because I was in Charlotte, and the whole reason I moved back to Charleston was I was seeing all my friends fishing and surfing, and I was stuck in Charlotte. Like, there's nothing to do. It was way more closed down, and that was very provincial in terms of like how they made those decisions.
Right.
So one of the reasons I came back to Charleston was like, man, my friends are having a lot more fun than I'm having. So, the state and local level, it's important. I mean, in the growing city, you just got to know what the hell's going on, right? Because if not, you're doomed to just be grumpy and complaining about traffic and potholes when you don't know anything behind it. Right?
Yeah.
So,
well, great segue into what we were talking about earlier. Along with what's popping, we got traffic is going to be kind of getting worse because kids are going to be going back to school. My kids go back, I think the 13th or something of August. It's like a Wednesday. They always do like a random middle of the weekday. When's your boy go back?
Next week, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next week.
So traffic is going to be getting worse. Now, coming back from Charlotte, I mean, Charlotte, you guys have some traffic up there.
Yeah.
Like when you left here back in, what was it? When'd you leave? 06?
Yeah. 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yeah. So when you left versus now, what's the traffic like in your opinion?
Well, it's a lot more than what it used to be, but I still
Sure.
laugh at it because if you go to Charlotte and try and drive anywhere, it's horrendous. It's freaking awful. I mean, talk about a political disaster up there. On 77, they outsourced this toll road to a company in Spain, and it's fluctuating pricing. So let's just say, for context, you work, say at the hospital, like say you work at Roper or MUSC downtown, but you live in North Charleston, like upper North Charleston, or even let's just say
Somerville.
Let's make it, Somerville. Actually, Mooresville and Charlotte would be Somerville of Charleston. So let's just say Somerville.
Right.
Well, when you need to get to work is when high volume is, and they adjust the pricing, not for less money, but for more money. And it was averaging $20 one way if you wanted to use 2 out of the 4 lanes. So naturally, people living out there are living there to save money on cost of living.
Right.
So spending $40 a day to get to your job, they're not going to do it. So you basically have 2 empty lanes all the time, and then the traffic's still in the other 2 lanes, unless you want to just, shell out a couple bucks to, and it's just, and when there's no traffic, it costs also almost nothing, and nobody takes it. And what's even worse, it wasn't even a U.S. company. In fact, the governor of North Carolina got ousted because of that decision. But it was too late because he was in his little, backdoor, weasel backdoor conversations about how that was going to play out. It was a disaster. So for me, hearing about traffic in Charleston, I laugh because I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's worse than what we're used to because we grew up in small town Charleston, but still.
Well, I mean, so here, there's 2 things that come to mind when it comes to traffic in the Charleston area for me. One is around Christmas time. You know all too well what I'm about to say. James Island County Park. They do a light show every year.
I used to live in a neighborhood right behind it.
I know. So every year around Christmas time, there is a ton of traffic from you tell me, Tony, what time a day is that?
It starts right about nighttime, so like 5.
Yeah. So right when it starts getting dark for several hours. James Island County Park, y'all did a great job, but we got to figure out that traffic. The other thing is obviously Folly Beach. So it's always kind of been there's traffic in the afternoon trying to get out there. But most recently, it's ridiculous. I mean, as long as you get out there at a decent time in the morning, early, 9 o'clock, you're fine. But the kids in the college age kids and the guys that are a little bit older, if you're not a family person getting up at the crack of dawn, you're going to be sitting in traffic. The one cool thing that I did see, did you see him when you came out this last time? There's a band called Traffic
Yes.
Jam.
Yes. It was so good.
I'm like, I see the signs, and so Tony and I went out to Folly Beach on the 4th of July. So another buddy was like, "You're doing what? Do you have any idea what the traffic's going to be like?" I was like, "I know, but I'm going to get out there early. It's not going to matter." I was wrong. 8:45, there was already a line to get out on Folly. It wasn't as bad as when Tony ended up showing up, but there's a sign that says traffic jam ahead. And I'm like, well, no duh, right? I'm in it. So, you get past the Harris Teeter on Folly Road, and then it was already backing up. So then you drive a little bit longer, and here's this sign that's like, just chill out, traffic jam. And there's dudes playing music on the side of the road. And I was like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It was great.
So shout out to that band, whoever you are. Genius idea to get your name out there. And I thought it was so cool to see dudes just having fun. I mean, they were just jamming and they were having a good time. And it's very clever. So awesome. I enjoyed it.
They were good too. They weren't they weren't a shit band either. That was because we ended up being stopped next to them for a minute. I was like, this is great.
It's brilliant.
I love it. All right, so let's round this thing out. Let's talk a little bit about what's popping. Since we're on the music train, we got some good stuff coming up. We're gonna do better at getting ahead of this so you can kind of fill your calendars. We like all kinds of music. I'm also your resident punk rock and metalhead. So Sunday, all the way to Trolley Pub in Somerville. Good get, by the way. Crowbar and I Hate God. Crowbar coming to Somerville Trolley Pub. Come on now. If you know anything about Crowbar, that is a show to be at. Also tomorrow, this is kind of fun. They moved the Blackberry Smoke Show to the Refinery, so that's going to be fun. You're going to try
tomorrow.
Yeah, trying to get out there tomorrow if you want to go. That should be pretty fun. And for my punk rockers coming up in August 27th, legendary punk band The Casualties are at the Music Farm. I checked the Charleston Music Hall, which is one of my favorite venues. They get great music. I saw Clutch this past month. I've seen a couple other really good bands. That's where you and I saw Yellow Wolf, right?
Yes.
Yep. But they're going to be shut down for all of August for renovation, so it'll be cool to see how that shapes up. And we'll give you a little bit of insight on what's next on the calendar, but we'll see how the renovations. But that's kind of what I've got my eye on over the next month. I'm going to get my punk rock and metal on. So Scott, what do you got?
So I don't have the dates in front of me.
I'll look.
So I'll put them in the comments, or you can look them up. But basically, there's two concerts going on the same dates in September. One is the Charlie Crockett and Leon Bridges show.
Oh my God! Come on!
I am so excited about that.
Are you joking?
And the same exact day, so they're going to be at the Credit One Stadium on Daniel Island.
Mm-hmm.
And the same exact day, I bought my tickets for this show first, and I was very excited to see her. I've been wanting to see her for a couple of years now, is Sierra Farrell. Might be Pharrell, but
we'll ask her.
We'll ask her. But she's just great. I've always loved her voice, and she's a musician through and through. She does a lot of collabs with some of my favorite artists out there. And she did one with Lucas Nelson. She's got one with a ton of different people. But I was really she's playing at the Firefly Distillery, which is also a very cool Charleston distillery that we're going to be doing a show at eventually. They've got a great outdoor venue. So, yeah, very big, very state-of-the-art facility that they have.
Last show I saw there was Social D and Bad Religion to give people context. I know. It was phenomenal. Phenomenon. Yeah. But anyways, so since you and I are September 13th, by the way, so we'll remind everybody on the next monthly check-in, because we'll try and do these at the beginning of the month, every month. Why don't you had a great idea right before the podcast about those tickets that you got, because you are going to Charlie Crockett and Leon Bridges with me, and we're making an event out of it. So what you got cooking on?
Yeah, so I have one Sierra Farrell ticket to the Firefly show that I'm willing to give away to our first guest. Now, here are the rules. We're going to randomly pick a guest to win tickets to the Sierra Farrell show at the Firefly Distillery.
Could be Farrell. Farrell. I always said Sierra Farrell just because to me it kind of flows, but I don't want to insult her if that's not her name. I don't know. Will Farrell's sister? Could be. I don't know. So all you got to do is comment, like, subscribe, and share our video with your friends. And we'll put all of those people into a randomizer, and we will do a drawing in one of our next videos with plenty of time for you guys to get the tickets in hand. Or ticket. It's one. Go solo. You might meet somebody.
I might have a second one for you.
Okay.
Still working on that, but for now, it's one ticket. You're halfway there if you want to take a friend. That's true. Check us out. We're going to be on pretty much anywhere you get a podcast. We are going to be eventually. Yeah. So search us out, charlestonuncorked.com. We're going to be on Spotify, definitely on YouTube. We have an Instagram, Facebook. We'll have all of the things eventually. Yeah. So just be patient with us. It's one ticket. Look, you freaks, quit trying to be so codependent. Go to a show by yourself every now and then. It's great. It's great. You actually focus on the music. It's amazing. You might meet some people. You might even, if you're single, yeah, could be might work out. Could be the beginning of the rest of your life. You literally never know. Never know. Yeah, and you can blame Charleston Uncorked, Sweet Tea Vodka, and the rest is history. And worst case scenario, you check out the Firefly Distillery. You've never been there. It's always fun. A good time. Yep. All right, you ready to bring this bad boy home? Yes, sir. All right. Any parting words for the team? No, just I'm really excited about starting this long venture, and you guys be patient with us. We're learning. This is definitely a process that we had no idea the volume that goes into creating, editing, and publishing a podcast. So we'll get it out to you as soon as we can. Our goal is to do, ideally one every other week, if not more frequent. So, cheers to everybody out there. Thank you for watching. We appreciate y'all. And we got 2 already in the books, so keep an eye out for like the real first official one from Holy City Brewing. We did with the head brewer and our friend Jack Pitts, another local boy. And then after that, we did Jadoon's Market out of Park Circle. That's an if you know, you know. But once you watch the episode, you're gonna know. So you're gonna love it. Keep an eye out, and we got a couple others in the kitty. Wish us luck for the King tournaments. And my brother, I'll see you this weekend. All right. All right, brother. All right, one love. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you for listening to this episode of Charleston Uncorked. The only way we are going to grow is if you tell your friends. So please like, subscribe, and share. We would be eternally grateful. Thank you again for listening to this episode of Charleston Uncorked. We hope you enjoyed.